Is it time to create something different with your life and your body? Right Body for You will inspire you and invite you to a different way of creating the body and the life you truly desire. Ready? Let's go. Here's your host, Donnielle.
And welcome, everybody, to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle, and I want to welcome you to a different type of radio show. You know, one of the things I love about doing this show is the places we go, which is, everywhere. Trust me. I never know exactly where these shows are going to go because the energy that each of you brings, whether you're listening to it now, in the past, or in the future, you all bring such a unique and different energy to it, and that is what enables the radio show to go wherever you guys are desiring and requiring it to go. And me, I'm here to follow that energy, and this is where I get to be called Energy's Bitch from, is because, hey, you know what? I go where the energy tells me to be able to facilitate all of you. And, you know, and it's one of the funnest things I have to do, I get to do, I have to do, and it's really interesting. You know, I spent my entire life up until about 9 years ago doing what this reality told me I should do and doing it very well. You know, I went to school, I went to university, I got the degree, I was using the degree, you know, and I made it to be I was marketing and promotion manager and production. It was all wrapped up into one role. Manager for a TV station, you know, and I worked in TV for a little over 10 years before I went, this is actually killing me. Doing what I'm doing, not only am I killing me, but I'm also killing the world. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Oh, no, don't have a good day. Watch the TV station. Buy the products, you know, and just shrivel your brain, shrivel your awareness. You know, what I was doing to make money wasn't actually helping the world. And so I had to make a change. And, you know, it's a longer story, but the short story is I discovered the tools of Access Consciousness and Right Body for You. And since then, everything in my life has changed. And now, instead of spending my time telling people how to judge themselves, I get to spend time telling people, don't judge yourself. Don't judge others. Here's some tools to actually help you get out of that judgment, have a better life, enjoy things, build the relationships and the reality that you desire. And I've never, ever had so much fun, okay? So thank you for all being a part of that journey. And whether we've done a private session, whether we've done workshops together, telecalls, or you've listened to the radio show, thank you so much for being a part of that continued energy. And it's such a gift to me and to my life. So thank you very much. Okay, so today we're talking about money. Currency. And, you know, and I say it that way because just like in the write-up, it's, you know, money, currency. Saying these words is almost like yelling boo at someone. That's why I did the title of money, friend or foe. So often talking about money brings up tension or fear or overwhelm, you know. People run away literally from conversations sometimes about money, if they're even willing to talk about it. You know, anybody else grew up with that, it's not polite to talk about money. Okay. Well, then, you know what? I never talked about money. It was always just something that was there, but not there. This dominant force in my life, and, you know, all that kind of fun stuff, right? So when did we make it the unknowable and unmentionable stranger that we need to fear? Can we become lifelong friends forever and ever, BFFs with money? You know what? Yeah, actually we can. For me, that's one of the big things that's changed besides my body and my life and my reality, my relationships and my awareness and pretty much everything. But what's fun is since I started using the Right Body for You and Access Consciousness tools, that everything actually includes money. Because what's interesting, my mom, I did a health talk radio show with my mom. Well, she did it, and I was the behind the scenes girl for her for, 25 years, right? And so I saw a lot of people, a lot of modalities, a lot of seekers, a lot of hopefuls, a lot of, trying to make the world a better place. And what's interesting is I look back upon it, and so many people were like, oh my gosh, everything's changed. It's so amazing, blah, 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 blah. And then, they're struggling to buy food, or they are not able to pay their rent, or they're barely getting by. And the one thing I've really noticed with a lot of this, even then, was why have you excluded everything has changed for the better? Why have you excluded money from that? It literally, to reach this enlightenment that people were doing, everything is so much better in my life, I'm happier, and blah, blah, blah. But money was nowhere in there. There was a definite, we're not gonna, to be happy, we're excluding money. And then they struggled, but they were happy with their struggle. It was really interesting. But I look back upon this, and they had really excluded money from even being a possibility of enlightenment or change or a new reality, or that altruistic, everything is light and rainbows and star kisses and all of that kind of stuff, that money couldn't actually be a part of that. That it to be happy, it didn't include it. And I like to quote Jane Russell in How to Marry a Millionaire. Somebody asked her, she's like, they're like, what, you think money will make you happy? She's like, well, no, money doesn't automatically make me happy, but it doesn't automatically make me sad either. And, when I heard her speak those words, I know it's a line written by somebody else, blah, 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 but it's a movie. So when I heard her speak these lines a million years ago, I went, a seed was planted of, wait a minute, if it doesn't automatically make you happy and it doesn't automatically make you sad either, then where is the power? And I was looking at it from that aspect of there has to be a power in there somewhere. Either it's in charge or we're in charge. And so fortunately it started at least doing planting a seed of a question, which all the Access Consciousness tools and Right Body for You tools are all about this, of asking a question, being curious about something, going, wait a minute, that might not make complete sense. What's actually going on here? And so that was really, for me, one of the first things about money that I was like, wait a minute. And so one of the things I enjoy about the Access Consciousness and Right Body for You tools is that it actually includes money. Okay? And it's not like, to be happy, you have to have money. Well, no, that's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying with this is money is a tool, just like any other. But eons of, don't talk about money. It's not polite to talk about money. Or if people know I have money, they're going to steal it from me, or, all that kind of fun stuff. Money has become this monster, this unmentionable. But even while we're doing it unmentionable, we're giving it all of the power. It's we don't talk about it, but it rules and dominates our lives, which is why during the little open I gave, I said, I was working as a marketing promotion manager telling people how to judge themselves for money. That's what I did for money. Because, we're told to do that. Well, what do you do for money? Because somewhere, unless we marry well or be born into the right family, somewhere we have to have that creation of money. And here's what's interesting is a lot of people tell me that in money there is no choice. And I find that very interesting. Well, there's no choice. I have to have money. Where actually there is a choice of money. If you're ever in a workshop with me, one of my favorite things to do is to play the no choice game, because you have choice in everything, and I do mean everything. Even the things you are looking at that you think you have no choice in, you actually have choice. And so in workshops, in the no choice game, what I'm talking about is people will be like, I have no choice in this. And I'm like, okay, well, let's look at it. And I help them actually see where they're choosing it or not choosing it. One of the most popular is I have to have money to pay my mortgage, to pay rent. I have to have money to, buy things. So basically the two things that come up a lot in that no choice game is money and mortgage. I have to have a place to live. And so when I look at that, it's like, okay, let's take a look at mortgage or rent. So you have to have a place to live. No, actually, you don't. You got to realize that that is a choice as well. You could live on the streets. You could literally walk out the door right now and start living on the streets. Does that sound like fun to you? No, it doesn't sound like fun for you. So you know what? You're not choosing that. You are choosing to do what is required to pay that rent, to have that mortgage, okay? Just because it's not a conscious choice doesn't mean it's not a choice that you made somewhere, okay? So you do have a choice in that every day, as well as a choice in money. People go, well, it's a necessary evil. It's required. It's all of that kind of fun stuff, right? It's a tool we created to create ease for ourselves. Money is. And when we think we have no choice in it, you do have choice in it. Again, you could go out and live on the streets, or you could go up into the mountains, live off the fat of the land, whatever that is. You could use things, you could make arrows from rocks. Hey, I took a class on that when I did my archaeology degree in college, okay? I don't know if I could do it to survive, but hey, you can make an arrow out of rocks, do it to a stick, get another stick for part of the bow, and then I forget what part of the animal that you use for string for the other part of the bow, and you can, hunt, and you can fish, you can live in a cave, you can make a log cabin, you can garden. I'm telling you right now, there isn't really a choice even to making money to provide the kind of life that you're asking for, okay? Does that sound like a fun life for any of you? I know sometimes we all have that fantasy of I'm going to go run off and live in the mountains because people are driving me crazy and this reality drives me crazy. I get that. Been there, done that. And after that, I'm realizing I'm making the choice to create money. Why? That's a good question. We're going to take our first little break. When we come back, we're going to go a little bit into money being the tool, not us the tool. Okay? Money is the tool, not us. We're going to talk about that when we come back. This is Donnielle on Right Body. Sorry, I was defending my tea. This is Donnielle. You're listening to Right Body for You. We're on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
When you're pondering the big questions like, is there more than this? How can I have a happy relationship? What would it take to like my body? And how do I make more money? Where do you go for information and tools? Check out the online store at accessconsciousness.com. Accessconsciousness.com has books, DVDs, instant video and audio downloads, online classes, and so much more. Subjects include abuse, changing your body, recovery, raising children, business techniques, tools to generate more money, how to have better sex and healthier relationships, just to name a few. At accessconsciousness.com, you can also find facilitators who teach local classes on a variety of subjects. Accessconsciousness.com, your one-stop shop for tools to assist you in changing your life. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. Go to accessconsciousness.com to learn more.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspire Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Donnielle, in case you didn't catch that in the intro or when I said it earlier. And I am grateful for you guys tuning in today or tomorrow or yesterday, whenever it is you're getting a chance to listen to this. I'm so grateful. And one thing, just real quick, one thing I'm asked a lot is, do you do private sessions? And I do. Please go to Donnielle.com and under workshops and classes or private sessions or somewhere in there, you can find to set up a private session with me. If there's something you want a little one-on-one time with me is about, that's a great way to do it. So please do that. And I love working with people, whether it's in a private session or workshops. It is so fun for me to help people see the other side of things and really make a choice and make a change in their lives. You know, it's one of the reasons I love doing the no choice game. You know, one of my strengths is to actually help people see that there's another side of it, that they don't have a no choice universe. They have a choice universe, and what are actually those choices, and what would you like to choose? So it's one of the funnest things for me to do. So check out my website, Donnielle.com. DONNIELLE.com, and there's a lot of information on there as well. And if you are on the website and you would like to like my Facebook business page, is Donnielle Carter Motivator. I would really, really appreciate that as well. So, all right. So let's get back to money, currency, boo, right? Sends shivers and fear of some people, or I'm rude because I'm talking about money, talking about currency. All right, so before the break, we were talking about just kind of some of the general points of view about money, what people view it as, and the choice or no choice in it, okay? Well, money is a tool. Money is a tool in this reality we've created to create ease. That's one of the things that I have really become aware of that people don't get. They don't perceive that. They don't know that. We created money. We've made money this phantom, powerful dictator of a sort, when in reality we created it. And being a student of history, hence the aforementioned archaeology degree, I went and looked it up. And it was fascinating what I found. So grab your hot chocolate, kiddies, and your warm blankets, sit by the fire. Here is a time for stories, storytelling of the history of money and currency. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So it started long, long, long time ago when man was new upon the face of the earth. And And when, man first started, walking upright and doing things, it was mankind lived in family units, okay? You had the husband, the wife, or whatever they were at that time, the man and the woman, they had kids, and then the kids found other people, married them, and then they had kids and, and all that kind of stuff. And they lived together as a family. And when they were doing this family unit living, the family did everything. They built their own houses. They made their own blankets. They made their own food. They hunted. They made their tools. They did everything. Okay, it was a self-contained family unit. And then, one day, as population started increasing, Mrs. Jones was talking to Mrs. Smith, and Mrs. Jones said, "Hey, you know what? That's a lovely blanket. That's such a lovely blanket. I'm wondering, if I gave you something, would you be willing to make a blanket for me? Because your blankets are so much warmer than mine. And so would you make me a blanket?" And Mrs. Smith goes, "Hey, I can make you a blanket for a chicken, or for helping my husband 3 hours building a barn." Okay? One of those two. And Mrs. Jones goes, "That's great. I will give you a chicken. My husband, he might not work on the barn very well, but I will give you a chicken. I will give you a chicken for this blanket." And then the bartering system was created. Okay? Bartering system. Because after this, specialization started to occur. Okay? Specialization meaning, hey, you know what? Mrs. Jones goes, "I'm pretty good at making blankets, so I'm going to start opening up to other people, and I can make blankets for them." So Mrs. Jones, is like, "Open for business. I make blankets for a chicken." And so she starts specializing in this and going, "Okay, here's a blanket, here's a chicken, here's a blanket, here's a chicken. You know what? And I'm really kind of tired of chickens. Okay, well, here's a leg of a cow. Let me give you a leg of a cow," or, whatever it is. So bartering system and specialization started to occur. And then, because we're all so cute, competition started coming in, okay? Mrs. Wanamaker came through and said, "Hey, you know what? I make blankets too." And Mrs. Jones has now raised it to 2 chickens for 1 blanket. But you know what? I will do a blanket just as good as Mrs. Jones for 1 chicken. And they were like, "Yeah, that's a great idea," blah, blah, blah. And so then regulation started to occur, okay? In the bartering system, regulation started to occur as in, well, if you do this, it equals this. If you do a blanket, it equals a chicken. If you do 3 hours on working on the barn, then it's worth 3 puka shells, or, whatever it is. Because in the barter system, it was not just chickens and cows, okay? You did salts, beads, blankets, animals, spices, time, to do other things. Bartering system is basically like anywhere you can get a value, and you agree upon what the value is for the exchange, okay? And so once then regulation started coming in, so the blanket is 1 chicken and so on. Then after that, what was interesting is people went, "You know what? I'm kind of tired of carrying a whole farm around, including the spices, all my kitchen pantry and this farm around, to go out and get other things for other people, or for my household, my family." And so what they started doing is using more and more, because more and more precious stones and metals, including the barter system. Okay? And obviously precious metals and stones were part of the barter system initially as well. But then they started regulating it more, saying, "Hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do so many things, so many pieces of gold is worth a cow. So many diamonds is worth a blanket, or, whatever it is. However it is, because it wasn't a global thing. It was in the different cultures, and as cultures grew, okay? And so in that, the precious metals and gems started becoming the regulation for currency. Okay. And then eventually, hey, you know what? You guys ever carry gold around? It actually gets kind of heavy. So people started getting tired of carrying gold and silver and precious gems around all the time. And then they got robbed and it was just, a hassle, right? And so they went, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do paper money. And paper money will be so much gold means this much of a dollar or euro or whatever it is, right? And that's how, and then we have paper currency. And what's interesting is there was actually a time, my dear friends, listening by the fire in the warm blanket and hot chocolate, listening to this tale, there was actually a time, my dear friends, when the currency in circulation was backed by gold. By, you had, the bank had to have, and the government had to have so much gold in storage somewhere to equal the amount of currency that was being circulated in the world. Now we just print it because it just, hey, you know what, we're out of money, let's print more. And, that's really where some of the energy about money has actually started to shift and change. But this used to have gold, like, do you guys ever hear, I know it's an international listening audience, but in the United States, there used to be something called Fort Knox, and it was in Denver. And this is where the United States used to keep all of its gold that used to back the currency, the U.S. currency that was in circulation. Not so much anymore. Because what was neat is when this whole paper currency thing first started, you could actually go in and exchange the currency for the gold. Say, like, I'm tired of carrying around paper money. I want to go play with gold. You could actually exchange the paper money and get the gold back. I would love to see that. Could you imagine walking in with, like, $5 and going, can I get gold for this? Oh, that would be a fun field trip. You wonder what the bank would do. Think they'd pull guns on us or just call it a crazy farm? Anyway, so I tell you this fireside chat tale, my friends, to let you know the evolution of money and currency is something that we created. We created it to create ease in our lives, to expand our lives. Do you get that? We actually created money and currency to expand our lives. Okay, let's sit with that one for a minute. I know we have this point of view that money is only about buying things. I have to buy something. Well, if you look at the beginnings of money and currency, like Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith was like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Jones, your blanket is so much warmer than mine. And I really hate making blankets. And I could spend my time doing something else constructive in the world if I just paid you to do a blanket for me. And Mrs. Jones is like, great, I love making blankets. It's easy. It's fun. It's like, yay. And perceive the energy of that. When Mrs. Jones making blankets, something she loves, it expands the universe, expands our lives. And then Mrs. Smith, who hates making blankets, and she goes off and, cures some disease or something. I don't know. Whatever it is that's fun and happy for her. Even if it's just making butter, oh, I love being in the kitchen and playing with spices and stuff like that. Cool. And it expands the world. It expands your lives. It expands all lives. So look at this. We created money not just to buy things, not to rule us, not to be able to tell who's a winner or a loser. We created money and currency actually as a way to expand the possibilities, expand our lives, make our lives fun, make our lives, enjoyable. You guys really get that. Get the energy of that. That is the beginnings of money and currency. Where have we shifted and changed that? What if just stepping into that energy of when we first created money of like, oh, good, you make the blanket, I'll make the bread, yay. How much does that just expand the universe? And with energy, it rolls out from there. Okay? So we're going to take a quick little break. Play with that, though, and just step into that energy of when we first started using money and currency, barter or, currency, whatever it is now or then. Step into that energy of it, of like the expansion that it created, the possibilities that it created, not the contraction that we tend to function from now, okay? And if you've noticed, I keep saying money and currency, not just money. Why am I saying money and currency? Glad you asked. I'll tell you when we come back. All right, this is Donnielle. You're listening to Right Body for You. We are on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle, and sometimes the voice in your head. I love to say sometimes because usually when I say that, somebody in the chat room goes, "You're always the voice in my head." Like, sorry, and you're welcome, and ha 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 ha. But true. Thank you for joining me here today, in the past, or in the future. I'm so grateful you chose to listen in, and that I haven't scared you away with the money talk, the currency talk yet. I know this topic can be scary, but what if it isn't? And actually, as I'm saying that, I can already perceive the energy shifting and changing. For those of you who are listening to this, that, money was created as a way to expand and invite possibility, not to limit what is possible in our world. And before the break, I was teasing you guys about money versus currency. Why do I keep saying money and currency? Money and currency, isn't it the same thing? Well, one of the things that you want to do to actually change your financial reality is to educate yourself about money, okay? Which is, as much as I enjoy telling the story of the history of money, it's actually, that is what I'm talking about, is when you learn about it, it doesn't become that secret, scary thing. You start to expand your awareness of it, and it becomes knowable and therefore invitable into your life. Okay. So why do I keep saying money, currency, money, currency, money, currency? Because guess what? They're two different things. I know people think that it's the same, but it's not. And this is part of where the knowing more about this comes in. Money and currency. Money is the actual coins and things like that. Okay? It's interesting. If you ever want to do it, look up the history of money, then the history of currency. You will get two different searches, two different Wikipedia, two different histories of it. It is kind of fun. Money is the coins, the actual physical coins, papers, and all that kind of stuff. Currency is what we're using. Okay, currency is that what's used as the medium of exchange. Okay, so money is part of currency, but it is separate from currency in definition. Okay, so money is a part of currency because money are the coins, things like that, money, paper. Currency is whatever is used as the medium of exchange, whether it's a cow, a chicken, coins, whatever it is. So money itself, again, is the coins. Currency is whatever we're using to exchange. So, it's like you've heard this expression, currency of the realm. Well, you know what? Some places barter is still in. Some places you can get a blanket for a chicken still. I don't know where it is, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. So that is one of the big differences. And then, as I like to do, what I did was go to the original definitions of words because, I like that, right? I like looking up the original definitions. So when we put names to energies, is when the words and the energies match. Okay, so you always want to look at the original definitions of words. So I looked for the original definition of currency. Okay, and I found it very interesting. So the first real use of it is in the 1650s, and it's condition of flowing. And I kind of like that. Because it kind of puts in that energy of the flow of energy, the flow of money coming in, coming out, and the ease of it. Condition of flowing, not stop, not hoarder. I have to gather it all, or I have none of it. No, there's a flow to money. Just like energy is a flow, money is also a flow. So I love that. The condition of flowing. And then in 1699, so a mere 49 years later, it was expanded to use the circulation of money. Okay, so see there's the difference again. Circulation of money. Currency is the circulation of money. Money is the coins, the bills, all that kind of stuff that we're using. Okay, so I love that. I love that. When checking this out and looking at it, it's a lot of fun for me because it really helps make me become aware of it. And in that awareness, it becomes not a stranger. And then, like we've been taught, stranger danger, stranger danger. Well, at least I did in the U.S. And so things that are strange or unfamiliar, we tend to discard and not invite into our lives. So one of the tips about educating yourself about money is not about, you don't have to become an accountant. You don't have to become a banker. You don't have to become a financial analyst or anything like that. What if it's just about things like this show? When you educate yourself about money, all you're doing is you're helping you and your body become familiar with the vibration of money, so that it's familiar, so that you invite it into your life. Because one of the things I know we're good at is, it's unfamiliar, so it must be bad. Discard it, ignore it. Run away. And how much are we doing that with money? Because we've made it this secret, scary, unknowable thing. Okay? So, just look, we're 40-some minutes into the show. Has your awareness and your energy with money already changed? Is it a little bit more familiar? Is it a little bit more of like, hey, this could be a friend. Maybe it's not that foe. Maybe it's not that enemy that I have to run away from. Okay. So thank you. And people in the chat room are like, yes. I'm like, thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is to help you just know about it. So it is that friend instead of that scary, unknowable enemy that. So one of the other things I really want to talk about, which is funny, why don't we talk about money? I want to talk about why we don't talk about money. Listen, folks, sometimes I hear these words come out of my mouth, and I find it friggin' hilarious, okay? But yes, one of the things I wanted to talk about is why don't we talk about money, okay? And the why of it, I don't know. Over history, I don't know, polite society, if somebody knows where it went, that it's like all of a sudden it was rude to talk about money. If you actually know that, let me know. Maybe I'll find it on the internet someday. What I'd really like to address today, though, is what happens when we make something secret, okay? When we don't talk about money, we make it a secret. It's like one of the rudest things in the world is to ask, how much do you make? It's rude. You don't ask that, so it becomes secret. You hint. Again, that same movie, How to Marry a Millionaire. The other one was Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. This one is How to Marry a Millionaire. Can you tell I have a Marilyn Monroe thing? Anyway, and in there they're talking about these three women are talking about their dates, and one of them says, my date's real class. He never talks about his wealth. He just refers to it. And I'm like, wow, okay. So you can actually say about money, all you can do is refer to it. And that's the genteel way, right? That's what makes you a man or nice or proper and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's really interesting. So what happens when we don't talk about money? When we make it a secret, what occurs with secrets? Secrets have an interesting power about them. And yes, I'm using the word power instead of potency intentionally. Secrets have a odd energy and this power attached to them. That's one of the things, I'm going to take it to abuse, right? So if somebody's been abused in whatever form and they don't talk about it, they keep it secret. There's a power there to the secretness of it that makes it unchangeable. If you're not willing to look at it, you can't change it. So say that person is being abused and it's a secret. Then the abuser has power over the person who they're abusing, and the secret is what binds them. The secret is what keeps them from changing. And it really locks both of them into a place of static, a place of no change. So what occurs to that power when the secret is out? When you talk about it. So if the person who's being abused steps up and starts talking about it, what occurs? That power dissipates. Then the abuser has no more power over the person they're abusing because the power is there, gone. Now the state of change is possible because you can look at it, you know about it, and things begin to shift and change and unravel, right? And I know this is like, wait a minute, you're talking about abuse and now money. And yeah, well, look at it. Because money, when you keep it a secret, it has that same kind of energy and power about it. It's like, oh, don't talk about money. Shh. Well, then it's unchangeable. It has that energy of static. Don't look, don't touch, don't be. It has a power over, instead of it being the tool, we're being the tools for the money instead of the money being the tools for us. And so I'm not saying you have to go out and, hey, you know what? I make this much for a living. You know what? I am doing this much of a tip. You know what? This is what this costs. I'm not saying you have to go out and do that because that's a braggart and that's a totally different energy. It's like, oh, look how you like my lamp? It costs $1,000. Oh, you like this bag? Oh, you know what? Only $1,200. That's a different energy. But if you're so unwilling and afraid to talk about money, with your spouse, with your friends, with your family? How much are you making money so secret that you're even keeping it secret from yourself? And so when the possibility of money coming into your realm of your universe, you reject it because it's a secret. And secrets are bad, right? All that kind of weird stuff. So it's like, what happens when we talk about money and we keep it if we don't talk about money and we keep it the secret? Which is why some of that energy is like that energy of keeping it secret. Wow, a little squirrel moment. We look at that energy of keep it secret, don't talk about it, hide it, and then we keep it a secret from ourselves, and it really shifts the dynamic to something that is not fun. What do we do about that? Well, I have a quick tip. We're going to take our last little break. When I come back, I will share with you that tip about how to make money not a secret from your life, okay? This is Donnielle. You're listening to Right Body for You. We're on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dane here, and I would like to invite you to an adventure in being. I've just written and finished a new book known as Being You, Changing the World. Are you one of those dreamers? One of those people who's always known that other possibilities should be available but haven't yet been able to see them be created? Well, I wrote this book for you. In it, you'll find tools, processes, and unique perspectives to change the things you've always wanted to change but didn't know how. In it, you'll find an invitation to a different possibility for a way that we can be in this world that changes not only our lives, but by being us, allows us to contribute to changing everything planet-wide that doesn't work. Are you aware that truly great people, truly being them, is the only thing that has ever created a great change on this planet? Are you willing to step up? Are you willing to be one? Check out a copy of my new book, Being You, Changing the World. I invite you to go to beingyoubook.com for a free gift.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. Today we're talking about money. Bum, bum, bum. And I love that money doesn't actually have that scary energy to it that it did at the beginning of the call. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for you guys listening, becoming more familiar with money. Because really, as Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, says, what if the purpose of money is to change people's lives? Absolutely. I love giving tips. I love doing tips like actual financial tips, and changing people's lives with it, including my own. And one of the things I've noticed that's really helped me change my financial reality is, yes, becoming educated about it and talking about it, okay? So here is what I'm going to suggest you guys do to help get out of that secret thing, right? Because people even hate saying it out loud, which I find hilarious, even if they're alone. So this is what I suggest that you do. First, discover how much it costs you to run your life in 1 month. Some of you may have heard this tool, but do it. If you need to know, part of the secrecy is not knowing how much money you actually truly require to run your life. So find out, okay? Then you know it. Then it becomes something, a target, okay? So figure it out and say if it's like $10,000 a month, sit there in your office, even if you're alone, and go, okay, so I require to make $10,000 a month. And let's see, last month I made $11,000. I know it sounds weird, but just saying it out loud to yourself, vocalize it, because I know some people won't even vocalize it because even if they're alone, because it's such a secret, okay? So that's the first part of it. Just even say it so your own ears hear it. It's amazing what just that energy can shift and change things. And then the second part, if you have a friend, somebody you know who doesn't judge you a whole lot or has your back, each of you do this. And then tell them, say, guess what? You know what? I made $11,000 last month. How much did you make? And not from that braggart, but just from that. And it's funny, and podpoc everything that comes up, because then as you say it to each other, the more you say it, the less it has that secret, the less it has that power. And I'm not saying you have to go around and go, grocery store person, hi, did you know I made $11,000 last month? Not what I'm talking about. But if you're willing to have a conversation about it, if you're willing to know what you require, what your life is like, trust me, money will begin to change. And somebody in the chat room is like, oh my gosh, this show feels like it just started. I know. And what if that is your new reality with finances, with money, with wealth, currency is just starting? What if that place of, oh, money isn't some scary thing. Oh, we created money as a tool to create possibilities for life, not control and dominate and manipulate our lives. Oh, okay. So what if that energy you guys are perceiving now is actually that energy of money, of possibility, of something else? It's like, okay, what's just starting? Not the radio show, but your ease with money, your relationship with money, your fun with money. What? Fun with money? Yeah, fun with money and currency and wealth and everything about it. What if just the things we discussed in this radio show can actually change your financial reality, because you begin to perceive the places and spaces that money, we created money as a invitation to more, an invitation to expansion, to possibility. Okay? Whew. Wow. Interesting journey. Thank you all for joining me on this today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Every single show I do, I also get those aha moments. I love it. So thank you for joining me in this today, in the past, or in the future. And I would love to see you guys in a workshop sometime. You know, I get to do these Right Body for You workshops all over the world. It's 2.5 days of information like this, talking about the bodies, because we didn't even get to the part where money works with your body. That's a whole other subject. And we do go into that a lot on the Right Body for You workshops. And here's a precursor. It's a good thing, not a bad thing, okay? And so do check it out. You can go to my website, Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com. You can find out where the workshops are all over in the world. I think the first one for the 2017 is in Canada in May, so check that out. And on my website, you can find past radio shows, you can find past classes, past audios, all that kind of stuff. So check it out. If you want to schedule a private session with me, you can also do it through that website. So please do. Fly, be free, have fun, enjoy money, because you know what? It wants you to enjoy it. We created it for that, okay? So have a great week, a fun week. Enjoy your body because it's enjoying you. And I hope to see you back here next week because I'll be. Until then, have fun. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Right Body for You. Donnielle will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you and your body will join us. Until then, have fun.